Good. Good to start? Perfect. Hello, everyone. Everyone's in? Perfect. Everyone's in. We got a full room, which is great to see towards the end of the conference. Today, we're going to be talking about ranking in AI search. We're going to be talking about ads and AI results. So, obviously, a very hot topic, as I could see by the attendance here. Here, I'll begin. I know we don't have a lot of time here. I think we have like 20, 25 minutes. So I'll go through this quick. And I also tend to talk quick as it is. So if you miss anything, feel free to reach out to me after. I think the conference records this. I also have the slides that I could send. And I love talking about this stuff. And I'm here the rest of the night. So if you missed something, grab me after. I'll send you the slides. We could talk about it because it's going to be rapid fire with a lot of information. I'll give you a little bit about me just so you know who this guy is talking on stage and whether you should listen to me or not. We're going to talk about rise of generative AI, something I've been speaking about at conferences all over the world for feels like forever, but it's only been 2 years. We're going to be talking about ranking in AI search, which is one of the hottest topics now. I've personally spoken at probably over 100 conferences about SEO. And all of a sudden, all those conferences are now reaching out and they're like, we don't want you to talk about SEO, we want you to come talk about GEO. So GEO is the new thing. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about paid ads and AI results, something that my company is actually beta testing in the US. And we'll have some time for Q&A. Perfect. Rapid fire. A little bit about myself. That's me actually in 1991. I was originally born in Kiev, Ukraine. My family immigrated to the US in 1990, 1999. I've been fortunate enough to be exposed to computers and technology my entire life. I started my first company, T35 Hosting, in 1997. For those familiar with the tech space, it was one of the first web hosting companies. So that's when you have a website. I had the physical servers and technology to host it. I came up with the original patents for the web hosting industry that has since exploded. For those that were involved in this space back in those years, these were the GeoCities, Hypermart, Tripod. I don't know if those names ring any bells. Anyone involved with the website space in the late 90s, those would be familiar. Obviously, most of those companies, all those companies don't exist anymore. T35 Hosting that I started in 1997 actually still exists and still operates as a hosting company. In 2011, I co-founded Smart Sites with my younger brother. You have a little co-founding picture there. Feels like a couple years ago, but this has been 14 years ago at this point. Sorry, we'll stay on there for a little bit. So I've worked in the digital space for a really, really long time. And we'll do a company slide. We'll do a little bit more about me, and then we'll do a company slide. I personally do a lot of stuff on automotive, but not to say that the stuff we do is not industry specific. My company's not industry specific. I have a best-selling book on automotive search marketing. Applies to every industry. If anyone wants a copy after, it's hard to bring books from the US into UK, so I couldn't bring the books. But if anyone wants a copy after, just let me know. I'll get you a copy. Smart Sites is a company we run in the US. So we're one of the biggest, fastest growing, best rated, best everything, bragging a little bit, but one of the biggest, if not biggest, private digital marketing companies in the US. And I'm not here to brag or sell you guys anything. I'm just giving you my background. So the stuff we're going to be going through are the things we're doing for our clients, things that we're doing for ourselves, and just my day-to-day learning this stuff as it's all very, very cutting edge. I know there's always a lot of experts, and in AI, you see all these experts, like 10-year experts and stuff. All this stuff is very fast moving. I'm just trying to learn it and keep up with it the best I can for our company. So Smart Sites, if you look it up, we're over 400 employees and rated pretty well everywhere. But you guys could look it up later, just if you're curious. And again, just my background and where I'm coming from with all this. All right, so today we're going to be talking about first just AI generally, then we're going to be talking about GEO, which is the new SEO, and then we're going to be talking about the AI and paid ads a little bit. So search trends. So I'm sure you guys see all the headlines, especially for me, all my LinkedIn headlines are all about AI, right? SEO is dead. I've been hearing SEO is dead since, as you saw, since the 90s. I think since before SEO started, I've been hearing SEO is dead. All I see is SEO is dead. There's no more SEO. Organic traffic is zero. Zero clicks. How many times have you guys raised your hand? Zero clicks. Is that you see zero clicks everywhere? Couple of hands. I know it's later in the afternoon. This is where we actually are in actuality in terms of market share. So this is where we are in terms of what percent of search activity is happening on AI. Couple ways to look at it. First of all, it is a huge number considering we came from zero, right? 2 years ago, we were on zero. So this is why it's so important and why that's all you see on your LinkedIn feed. At least that's what I see on my LinkedIn feed. It's projected to grow by a couple percent next year and keep growing, right? In 3 years, we'll be at 14%. So a lot of information I see online would make you think that we'd be like at 100% by 2028, right? Google will be gone. Everyone's going to be using AI. Obviously, it's not the case. Obviously, these are forecasts, but I feel very confident about this specific forecast. Same data set, same study that was done for all of this. This is kind of zooming out, right? So we were just zoomed in on AI search. The percent is growing. This is actually how the big picture looks. And again, this is just Google. This obviously doesn't include the other search engines, right? So just looking at Google versus AI chat, when we actually zoom out, what's interesting is that yes, it's going up, right? And we're at 2025 now. This is billions of searches per day. Yes, AI searches are going up. But interestingly, so are Google searches. So it's not like Google searches fell off. It's not like people are not using traditional search. I unfortunately submitted these slides, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. I have a newer slide. And again, this is one of those things. Please message me. I'll send you the newest slide. There's a newer slide. There's a study that they just concluded figuring out the overlap between generative AI and traditional search. And what they found is 99.7% of the people who use AI are also using traditional search. So I'm sure you could think about it yourself. If you're everyone in the audience here, I'm sure you guys have used AI, you've used ChatGPT. I'm sure you're still using traditional search as well. Trying to slice it out of the people who are using now AI but not using traditional search, it comes out to like fractions of a percent. So just something to think about in the big picture. AI, I think, will continue to be super important. I think it will continue to dominate conversations, but we just want to be cognizant of that we're focusing on the white thing, and you can't. I see a lot of companies like all of a sudden abandoning their SEO strategy. Organic search is over. Google is going away. We're only going to do ChatGPT. We're focused on ChatGPT. Just important to keep an eye on the big picture. Obviously, trends are important to watch, but you want to keep an eye on the big picture. All right, ranking in AI search. So this is the big one. I didn't even want to put the word on here because I submitted these a couple of weeks ago, and all of this is so quickly moving. But the big word for it is GEO. There's a couple of competing acronyms. Show of hands for people who are familiar with the word GEO. GEO. So that, I think that is the winning word. The second runner-up is answer engine optimization. That's the second most popular word after GEO. But it seems like I don't even put the acronyms in my slides anymore because this conference wasn't bad. But I have a couple that I submitted like 9 months ahead of time. Like I'm going to submit GEO, I'm going to show up, and no one's calling it GEO anymore. But for now, GEO is the winning acronym, Generative Engine Optimization. Let's dive into next. Doesn't want to go. It's just blinking. I don't have too many slides if you want to click it for me. Perfect. Thank you. Technical difficulties. I actually posted this on LinkedIn. Everyone pushes GEO as its own thing, and I'll go through the actual data for you guys, but this is probably the best illustrative way I could explain GEO to you guys. So this was at, I don't know, I guess we're in the UK now, so probably not many of you attended WordCamp in Portland, Oregon last month. So on stage, this is actual presentation that they rebroadcast. So I actually grabbed the screenshot with him on there as proof. So on stage, for those that don't know, is Danny Sullivan. Danny Sullivan was the Google search liaison. So he was a Google employee whose job was to communicate Google's updates to the mass public, almost like a PR role. So you got to take it a little bit with a grain of salt. But this was his presentation at WordCamp. For those that attend, WordCamp is like a WordPress-based event. For those that attend them, I'm actually speaking at the next one in Canada next month. But this is literally his slide where he comes out and says, good SEO is good GEO. So there's a lot to digest in that sentence, right? I don't think SEO necessarily is identical to GEO, but the core parts of SEO and what's important to rank in search in general is what's important to rank in AI. And I'll go through the Google ranking signals and we'll deep dive into a little bit in the 14 minutes we have left together. But things like creating content, building topical authority, right? Link building, although link building, everyone's link building is dead, right? Things like that are important to SEO is important to GEO, right? If you are not creating content, unique content, as Google would say, made for humans content. Google is very careful with AI created stuff the way they mandate it. As long as you're creating good content, that content will actually be what gets picked up by ChatGPT and other engines. All right, so before we go into the GEO specific stuff, because that's the GEO stuff is more of a mystery box, right? So for SEO, we've been doing this for a long time, and most people kind of know what you need to do for SEO, right? The SEO experts out there are pretty good at it. There's a couple of companies that sell mystery boxes and snake oil and like pay us some money and you'll get something, but the real SEO experts know what they're doing and they're able to generate results. So let's take a deep dive into what's important for SEO because we know that really well. And then we'll go through a little bit of what you need to change to do that, to continue ranking not only on organic, but also on AI results. So before we dive in, how do we know what's important to Google, right? For ChatGPT right now, we completely don't know anything, right? We could, there's a lot of guessing and people doing their own case studies, A/B testing, but we don't know anything. With Google, we surprisingly know a lot because this has been around for a long time. A couple of ways you could tell of what's important to Google, and I'll start from your top left and move like a clock this way. Top left, so the Yandex search index was search algorithm was fully leaked. I'm sure it's something you guys are aware of. I think this was a couple of years ago. Completely leaked to a point where it tells you not only what ranking factors Yandex uses, but also the weighting of those factors. So literally everything is leaked. You know exactly how to rank the Yandex. Negative with that is obviously Yandex is not Google, right? Yandex is always 4 or 5 years behind Google. Now with the sanctions and everything, probably it's going to be 6 to 7 years behind Google. So that's not a way that I personally like to determine what's important to Google. The other way is Google's API leak. Everything's leaking these days, by the way, and it's only going to get worse with AI helping. Like everyone's now a hacker with AI, so all this stuff is only going to get worse. Google's algorithm leak. This was huge news. I can't see the year anymore, but it was recent last year, I think, beginning of last year, so about 18 months ago. Huge news, made huge headlines. There was a lot of clickbait around it. At the end of the day, I don't think it's useful. So for those that don't know, what leaked is via API, someone was able to figure out all the variables that Google uses to rank websites. Problem with that is there were 1,900 variables. About 500 of them we assume are active based on all the research and everything everyone did, but no one knows the weighting of those variables. So it's like having a very complex soup recipe with 1,900 ingredients, and now you know the ingredients, but you don't know the quantity of the ingredients, you don't know what order to put them in, you don't know how to make the soup. So yes, there's a little bit of value, but that's not what I would use to determine what's important for Google. On the right side is what I use. So Darren Shaw, it was someone else before. Darren Shaw for the last 10 years or so does an internal SEO expert study. So all the top SEO experts, so not executives of companies, not people who are like running companies or managing people, like the true SEO experts who are there in the field, that are putting in 10 hours a day of SEO work, do this survey internally and report to each other what they see working on Google, what they're seeing works for their clients. These are the people on it for the 2023 one. It's going to be updated soon in progress, but it's the items, and I'm not going to present I have the historical overview of it that I could send to you guys also, but trust me, that hasn't changed over the last 13 years. Things that have been important to Google change a little bit, but the fundamentals are the same. So taking that study and summarizing into one nice little pie chart, and this is a good one to take a picture of, and I have this in my book too. These I would consider are the core signals Google uses to determine how to rank your website. And I'll go through them in the not so much time that we have. I'll do rapid fire through them. Left side is the local pack. So for the non-SEO experts, that's Google Maps. So on Google Maps, obviously the most important is your Google Business Profile. I still call it GMB, now it's GBP. Obviously, if you don't have a Google Business Profile, you're not going to rank on Google Maps, but also having it all filled in, all the information in there. Google keeps adding new categories, things like that. Over time, this has become more important, and at the expense of citations. Citations are like Yelp and third-party directories. That's become less important to rank on Google Maps. As Google has pushed their Google Business Profile, that should be like the core. Next is on-page signals. I'll touch upon that a little bit more on the right side. On-page is the quantity and quality of your content. So that one's important for Google. That one's important for ChatGPT, right? If you don't create the content, you won't rank for it. My auto example I like to use, if you create a page comparing the Honda Accord versus Toyota Camry, that page has an opportunity to show up in search results. If you never created that, if you're just a regular dealership and someone searches that, your dealership website will never come up for it because you need the content to have the opportunity to come up in search results, and same for AI. Review signals is an interesting one. I won't touch upon that too much because we don't have a lot of time. But the quality of your reviews matter. The content of your reviews matter. That's always a popular one when I talk at SEO conferences. So the content of your reviews gets used by Google, and not as relevant for AI, but for Google. So for example, if you're a coffee shop and everyone's putting in, oh, I really like their Brazilian coffee. When someone searches Brazilian coffee, your coffee shop's more likely to come up. So literally the content of the reviews Google uses in their algorithm, the responses to the reviews, while important, are not used in the algorithm. Link signals is link building, which everyone keeps saying is dead. And then the other ones are smaller, obviously behavioral, how they use your website. Citations are third-party directories, the Yelp and third-party directories of the world. Personalization is harder to control. That's if Spanish user, when a Spanish keyboard comes to your website, it's in Spanish, it's more likely to rank. The right side is where I can actually influence a lot more for both SEO and GEO. That's literally the pages that come up in Google. That's on Google Maps. It's the local results that come up in Google. So taking it from the top, on page, there's some technical SEO that goes into on page, but for most people, your biggest bang for your buck is the quantity and quality of your content. And again, this is what matters for AI. If you don't have the content, AI has nothing to pick up. They're not going to rank your website that has one page, right? It'll never be cited in AI. Link signals, it's gone down a tiny bit over the years, but having authoritative websites linked to you is still super, super important. It's become very important for AI. AI looks for websites that are topical authorities, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. The only way it knows your topical authority is to have relevant, authoritative websites linked to it. And then the other ones we touched upon. So this is SEO. This is. There's no I have it in my book. Everyone's always like, oh, SEO agencies never tell me what they're doing. This is SEO. Everyone can do it. The reason I'm able to sell SEO as a service is because we have the efficiency to do it better than most people can do in-house. But there's no secret to it. In my book, I literally do like 3 pages explaining each one of them. This is SEO. Here's for GEO. So it's very similar. So you take what we just looked at, a couple of things that you want to modify from that. And I'll go through this from top to bottom. You want to write with promptability in mind. That one's obvious, but I always am surprised to see agencies trying to increase AI citations that don't think about that. AI will use content that is based on the question. So it has to be, in most cases, your content has to be answering a question. If you just have Honda Accord versus Toyota Camry, most people no longer go to Google and type Honda Accord versus Toyota Camry. They're going to go help me compare the safety features of Honda Accord versus Toyota Camry, right? You have to think about the prompt that's creating the content. People's prompts are going to be a lot longer than typical search queries. Use clear question-based headers and direct answers. FAQ style is popular. We've been testing FAQ schema, so you can use schema on your website that structures it at FAQ for bots to crawl differently. Our recent test that we just finished showed no difference in AI citations from FAQ schema. So a lot of people still claim it helps. We literally did FAQ schema for 500 websites and no schema for 500, and there was no statistical significant difference. So still maybe something we're doing, but not as important as some people are saying. Clearly define who you are, what you do, right? You want to build topical authority. You want to create consistent information. You want AI, and similar for Google, to know you as the topical authority for that kind of content. If you're not, if you're a more general website, you have to create topical hubs, right? Within your website, you have to create category pages that deep dive, that have different levels of topics, and you want to be known, even if you have a general domain that's not specific to an industry, you want AI and Google to pick you up as a topical authority, which also involves the link building that we just looked at. Yeah, link building at the end. I didn't even see that point, but it said it naturally. You want authoritative, you want relevant and authoritative websites to link to. So this is the end result of it. So we do SEO for us, for our brand smart sites, like we do any other client. I can't even say we do a lot of it. We do the average amount of SEO. This was a recent study. I have it in the slides. You could Google it, you could look it up. This was the biggest study they've ever done for AI citations. So search engine land, and this is a very recent study. They did the study trying to figure out what brands are coming up in AI results and why they're coming up. And this was, by the way, to my surprise. This was someone, a past employee, messaged me, and they're like, "Do you know you were in this study?" So our brand, Smart Sites, came up as one of the highest cited brands. Again, based on all the stuff we do that I just showed you guys. We came up against ahead of Four Seasons, ahead of like Subaru, like literally ahead of like Fortune 500 companies, because we're actually doing the things that we just covered in the last couple of slides. And the only reason I point that out is it's kind of like proof of concept, right? Like, oh, this guy showed me all these signals I should be doing. Should I really be doing them? No one could tell you whether they're gonna, right? It could have been working last year, won't work in the future, but all I could tell you is that that's what we're doing for ourselves, and it seems to be working very well. I don't know if I have a slide. I took out the slide here, but we're actually right now getting over, I think we're up to 2,000 users a month from AI citations. And the recent studies show that only 1 in 10 people click the citation. So if AI recommends your business 10 times, someone will click the citation once. So if we're getting 2,000 visitors a day from AI citations, we're literally being recommended 20,000 times per month. So all this stuff's very powerful. Again, AI is a very small part of overall search, as we saw in the beginning. I'm going to don't have a ton of time, but I think I'm the last session of the day, so luckily they'll give us some flexibility. I have 2 more slides, and then he has the mic. He's the QA guy. And then we'll do QA. Paid ads and AI overview. So this is new. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be sharing this stuff. I guess take a picture. At this point, I'll get in trouble anyway. This is something Google's only testing in the US, or piloting it for them along with 3 other agencies in the US right now. Google is doing ads and AI overviews. No one is surprised by this. They need to make money, right? They're not going to kill. Google as a company makes like 99% of their money from Google ads and Google search, right? Google ads is 99%. All this other stuff they do, like they make cell phones. Some of you might have a Google Pixel. They lose money on it, right? All their money is from ads. They're not going to get rid of the ads product. A lot of people have been wondering, how does this play into AI results? So we're already testing it. Again, this is just in the US for now. I think it's rolling out worldwide Q1 of next year. But the first application is actually super applicable to you guys. Its first application of this will be in e-commerce. So you'll be able to feed in your feed and run a campaign in a specific way that will allow Google to recommend your product on a paid basis. You're going to pay for that click. But when someone searches, in this example, how do you search for a mattress or whatever, they're going to literally recommend your mattress as a paid ad within the AI results. I think I have one more slide of this. This is also interesting. This uses Google AI to forecast the need. So it's not necessarily like I need a mattress, here's a mattress. This is how Google Shopping works. You guys know this. AI's got to be a little bit more complex. Someone searches how to bring a small dog on flights. Within this search, after responding with AI results, there's going to be ads for small bags to bring your small dog on a flight. This is all already being tested. Um, a lot of times it says sponsored. Right now, a lot of times it won't. There's a lot of things we're helping Google test, so it's not. Some of it I would even say is a little sneaky. I think people are not realizing that's a sponsored result. It won't always say how it's going to land and how Google will do it after. I'm not sure, but just know that this is coming. This is going to be huge. This is going to be a separate product. It's going to live within Google Ads, but it's a separate type of campaign from any campaigns that exist right now. Closing thoughts. Just summary of the slide. I actually had, I don't know if you could tell, but I had ChatGPT. I told ChatGPT summarize my slides. This is a ChatGPT presentation on AI without using AI, right? The other slides I made myself. The other ones old-fashioned way. PowerPoint, I drag things. There's a lot of AI tools that make slides for you now, actually. The other ones I made myself. This one, the text was used by ChatGPT, but it's a summary of the presentation. Be prepared for the rise of large language models while still focusing traditional search. Focus on the important Google AI ranking signals that we went through. I think that's going to continue to be the core of search and AI. Partner with agencies who understand AI. We have a lot of clients who we help with certain things, but not other things. And I'm seeing a lot of agencies just ignore it because they just don't understand it. I wouldn't ignore it, right? The opportunity is there. We saw it growing. Build your brand for success with SEO and AI. Any brand you're building today or trying to grow today, I think you have to be cognizant of all the stuff we covered today. And I think early movers in tech and tactics will win big, like in any kind of tech revolution. I think this is going to be like one of those that we're going to talk about it, and then wake up and it's all of this, right? And quick 30-second story, and then we'll do Q&A. Before starting my company, I worked at Publicis. I was head of digital for Samsung and then for Walmart a couple of years. While I was there, this was 2009, 2010, and a piece of 2011. Every year I was there, it was the year of mobile. We would come into work, this is the year of mobile. We would measure the amount of apps people had. It was like, this year, people have 5 apps. That's it. This is going to be the year of mobile. And the transition just happened overnight. I don't remember when it happened, how it happened, but all of a sudden, marketing became mobile first. Websites became mobile first. We just woke up one day, and now if you go home and your pipe's leaking in your basement, you're going to pull out your cell phone and you're going to look up a plumber. You're not going to go on a computer, right? So I think AI will be a similar transition. I think it'll be like, it's coming, and then we're going to wake up and a lot of things are going to be AI powered, and you just want to be prepared for it. That's all I have. That's my email address on your left. My LinkedIn, you could scan with your phone. I'll connect with you on my LinkedIn on my right. I'm available after. Ask me for my book. I'll send it to you. The slides, anything you want. I love all this stuff. I talk about it all day. Ready for questions if we have time for it. I think there's no one after, so we could do questions. I know that was very quick. Rapid fire. Questions. Slides were so good, there are no questions. Left them speechless. Questions going once. Oh, question in the back. It's going to be a long walk for you, though. All the way in the back. For those with no questions and leaving, thank you for coming. Again, if you want the slides or any information, feel free to reach out to me. And I think we have a question. Hey.
Thank you for your presentation. It's pretty useful. As a Google Ads agency, what do you recommend I do with the services? Do you think just start recommending or start offering GEO as a service?
So if you're doing paid search, I don't think you need, like if you're not doing SEO, I don't think you need to do GEO, right? I think if you're just doing paid search, stay within paid search. You'll be eventually managing ads within AI, so you don't need to do GEO to do that part of it. If you are doing SEO, it's one of those things that we don't offer GEO right now as a standalone service. Our mentality is the things we do for SEO help for GEO, as you saw for our own company. If a client really wants to do GEO, we could allocate some of our hours towards it, but we personally don't sell GEO as a standalone service. I think there are agencies that do, but I think they're chasing things that are a little bit too far in front of them. I don't know if that answered your question. Thank you. Questions?
Hi. Sorry, you said everything good for SEO is good for GEO. Is there anything whatsoever within GEO that's not covered by SEO at all?
Oh man, good question. Is there anything in GEO that's not covered by SEO? I don't think so. I think the only caveat to that, and my general answer is no, but the caveat to that is GEO, generative AI, really likes certain established websites, and it's almost hard coded into the way it works. So Reddit is a good example. It really, really loves Reddit. As a typical SEO strategy, I would not recommend let's create content on Reddit. But for Geo, you could actually create conversations on Reddit about your company that will be referenced in generative AI. So it's like a workaround. Dangerous game because people on Reddit are a little crazy, and if they see you're self-promoting or whatever, it could do more harm than good. But there's small things like that they could kind of exploit. You could focus. Every industry has, Reddit is a general one, but every industry has websites that GEO on a hard-coded basis prefers for answers. In the B2B space, G2 and Clutch is one of them, for example. How do you exploit that? G2 and Clutch are paid directories. You pay to be on them, and then you're mentioned in ChatGPT. So that would be the only thing.
Hi, Alex. Paul. I'm interested whether you think there's a possible application for AI when you're doing data analytics for your clients. And linked question, what would you say is the proportion of pure data analysis versus gut instinct versus experience when you're analyzing a situation for a client? Very loaded question.
Very loaded question. That's like, I hope everyone's comfortable. It's like a 2-hour response. What can I say? AI is super powerful for summarizing data. I think nothing at this point should be, everything should be data driven. It shouldn't be gut feel. And I'll give you a quick example. In Google Ads back in the day, for people who were doing this 10 years ago, a lot of people would adjust time of day bidding. Anyone in the room, show of hands, time of day bidding back in the day, maybe day of the week. So people would go in, they would analyze data from the last 3 months, or a lot of it would be gut feel. By the way, all my doctors, dentists, whatever, they're like, oh man, I feel we really do well at 4 p.m. Let's bid 30% more. And that kind of went away because it was false. It was really false. And we did so much analysis on it. You'd think it would be like 50-50, the gut feel. Like, let's even say they don't, not such a good gut. They have like an average gut, 50-50. It wasn't. They were wrong like 80% of the time. Doing gut feel, like I feel like 4 p.m. is the time to do it. So I think AI helps with all that because it could analyze huge data sets. Most SEO, SEM tools now connect to it. Like Ahrefs now connects to ChatGPT, and you could say, give me a summary of my traffic for the last 30 days and the keywords I'm ranking. You no longer need to sit there and do that. I think in general, and a very long-winded answer, but in general, I think AI is going to get rid of a lot of the bottom level, like not even data entry, but very low-level analysis that's being done now. I think that's all going to go away. I think you still need a high-level strategy type of analysis to interpret the data, because AI is going to say, oh, everything's terrible, your numbers are terrible. Like, well, in my business now I have seasonality and I know it's terrible because A, B, C, or this other competitor just went out of business, that's why I'm doing better. You need that kind of thing. Like AI won't know that. Am I out of time? Okay. Sorry. I try to talk quick, but not quick enough. Thank you. Okay. Said no one's presenting after, so if anyone has any questions, I could field them here. I just have to turn this off so we don't have public conversations with the whole conference.
I'd like to pick your brains on something.
Yeah.
It was a little bit techie, so I didn't want to lose the audience.
Yes, yes.
The amnum equals 100 search parameter.
That's huge.
Yeah, I just
It's
wondered
huge.
if your agency had done any research on your data.
So that's going to be a huge thing for us this month because clients who watch their impressions are going to see a huge drop.
It was September 10th, wasn't it? And everybody just woke up. I was reading Twitter that morning, and then
explaining to like my dentist doctor clients that your traffic's not actually down, you're just getting less bots. That's going to open a whole can of worms. But aside from that, it doesn't really impact anything.
Well, no, it's Google trying to give a clearer picture of traffic that really matters from end users, right? But I wondered what you thought the bot traffic, where it was coming from. Was it mainly tools and scrapers, or was
scrapers?
It all,
Google gave me a 24-hour notice, by the way, before they did it.
they?
So they gave me a bit notice, but very short notice.
That's very